If you're new to off-roading, have a few trails under your belt, and are ready for a challenge, Crackerjack near Payson, Arizona is the perfect trail to take your wheeling to the next level. This trail features rocky terrain, narrow shelf roads, and many climbs and descents, but it's all manageable as long as you stay attentive, choose your lines carefully, and take your time. The trail is also beautiful, winding through tall pine forests and rugged mountain terrain. We're Fran and Jim with Jeep for Dirt, and today we'll show you what's ahead on Crackerjack so you can decide if it's the right next step for you. Now, let's go. Before deciding whether Crackerjack is right for you, there are three sections you need to see. First is a potentially treacherous washout on a narrow shelf road. Next are rock ledges approaching 2 feet tall. Finally, the trail descends across large lava rocks. One trail's off-road reviewer called this the worst part of the trail, while another said it knocked them around inside their Jeep. We agree about the knocking around, but we think it's one of Crackerjack's best sections. We'll show you all three, so you can decide whether you are ready to take on Crackerjack. We're at the staging area about a half mile in. A lot of reviews have talked about this being a pig pen, filthy, a lot of garbage. We didn't find it that way. Maybe there's been a cleanup, which is good. So we've aired down, and we are now ready to resume the trail. And actually, we have to climb out here. It's a little bit of a climb. That was fun. And now we're back on the main road again. Another reason Crackerjack is well suited for newer drivers is that pitch and roll remain moderate throughout the trail, never exceeding a combined 25%, so there's no real pucker factor from steep angles or off-camber sections. Crackerjack begins at the intersection of Highway 87 and Forest Road 209. The trail is nearly 13 miles long and runs mostly from east to west, which put the morning sun at our backs when we started. We use trails off-road to guide us along the route. The trail starts out very easy and gradually becomes more difficult. About 3 miles into the trail, after a fun winding descent, you arrive at the East Verde River and a low concrete bridge. Even though the water level was low during our visit, the entire area was lush and inviting, with dense greenery, tall trees, plenty of shade, and the peaceful sound of water flowing through the river. We've read that this is a popular spot for picnicking and barbecuing, and there is also at least one campsite nearby. We stopped for a while and thoroughly enjoyed having this beautiful area entirely to ourselves. After climbing away from the river, the landscape opens up to beautiful mountain views and striking rock formations. This is also where the trail begins to narrow and transitions to shelf roads. Washouts can be dangerous, as we learned while driving our first off-road vehicle on Senator Highway. We came dangerously close to rolling into a gully 50 feet below. Fortunately, we avoided a serious accident, and we learned never to underestimate a washed-out section. This shelf road has rock on one side, steep drop-offs on the other, and several washouts, including one that is quite large. There is still enough room for a Jeep or similar-sized vehicle to pass, but the limited margin for error demands your full attention. Take your time, favor the uphill side where it is safe to do so, and maintain steady throttle and controlled momentum. When the drop-off is on the driver's side, roll down your window and look at tire placement to make sure your line is correct. Also, if need be, have a spotter guide you around the washout. Successfully traversing this kind of terrain always gives us a tremendous sense of accomplishment, and we think it will do the same for you. Jeep for Dirt donates every dollar our channel earns to organizations that support off-roading in public lands. The longer you watch this video, the more money we are able to donate. Thank you for helping us give back to the off-road community. We're at 6.5 miles, Crackerjack Mine. I believe I read that it was in service 1905 to 1950.
This was apparently used for the kitchen or the cookhouse.
Oh, right here.
Right.
Oh, this is what we got here. Yeah. Cool. But I don't know what it was for.
I do. Yeah, this was the bunkhouse. Part of the bunkhouse.
It was? Okay.
That's what they say.
Yeah, could be. All right.
I wasn't here then, so I don't know for sure.
When you leave the bunkhouse, you start climbing on a very rocky hill. That is so far the toughest part of the trail. When you come to this intersection, there's no signage to the right that you can see right away. If you go left, you're on 209A, and that's not where you want to go. You turn right, and then there is no sign for 209. If there was one, I missed it. So you definitely want 209. The other is the Cedar, what's it called?
Cedar Flat.
Cedar Flat, or I think it's East Verde. So you want to go right, 209, not 209A. We are at 10 miles, and that is where it says the rock ledges start. I guess this counts as a rock ledge.
It's the beginning of it.
Yeah, and they go up to, is it 20 feet? 40 feet? 60 feet? I don't know, and hopefully there's no bypass. We love off-roading solo in our Rubicon, but we don't recommend Crackerjack for beginners' first solo run. Beginners should tackle this trail with a group, or at least with another Jeep and an experienced driver. If you're thinking about heading out solo for the first time, we have several videos on our channel that can help you prepare. We recommend starting with the video linked in the description below. After these rocky sections, Crackerjack mellows out for a while and rewards you with an impressive view of the Mogollon Rim. Its towering cliffs and forested slopes stretch across the horizon, creating a dramatic backdrop and one last scenic highlight before the trail ends. The trail soon enough becomes rough again, and the final section is a bit of a bone rattler with plenty of loose, fairly large lava rocks under your tires. It's rough and slow going, but not especially difficult if you choose your line carefully and maintain steady momentum. The trail also narrows again here, leaving very little room for vehicles to pass. From there, the rocky descent leads you down to Highway 87. trail ends at Highway 87, so use extra caution. The traffic moves fast and the sight lines are limited, and if you're packing a 392 under the hood, well, you still need to look both ways. You just won't need much of a gap. Thanks for watching. Until we meet again, keep your rubber down and your spirits up.